These are the 7 most common words that toxic personalities use to manipulate you. Have you ever heard somebody say, "I do this because I love you," and felt a strange twist of guilt instead of comfort? Those words, those 7 words, sound so noble and selfless on the surface, but way too often they hide something darker. And emotional manipulation loves to dress itself up in pretty phrases like that. And manipulators in all kind of relationships, whether it's spouses, bosses, or friends, they use versions of this line to control, guilt, and sometimes quiet the people around them. A partner might say that they are protecting you, a manager might claim that they are pushing you to be your best, and a friend might insist that they just care too much to let something slide. But it's all the same game, wrapping selfish motives in a shiny package of love or concern. In this video, I'm going to peel back those layers and see what's really going on, and we will dive into how this trick plays out in family life, at work, and even in friendships, showing you the confusion and doubt it leaves behind. Then I will hand you the tools to spot it and stand up to it. Manipulation doesn't always yell or make a scene. It hides in words that we want to trust. And by the time we're done, you will know how to see through that mask and protect yourself. Now, let's start by figuring out the most important thing, what emotional manipulation is all about. Because emotional manipulation sneaks up on you like a shadow. It's not loud or forceful, but it twists your feelings and theirs until you're not even sure what's real anymore. And at its heart, it's all about power, where one person bends someone else's emotions to get what they want. When manipulators say, "I do this because I love you," they're handing you a gift that's secretly a trap. It's pretty much control wrapped up in affection. It's clever because love is something that we all want and trust, something we don't question easily, and that is exactly why it works so well. They use this line because it puts the pressure on you. If they love you, pushing back feels like you're rejecting their care, and suddenly you're the one feeling guilty. You will see it everywhere, from a spouse hovering over your every move to a boss piling on extra work for your own good, or a friend nudging you into doing what they want. It takes a toll over time, wearing down your confidence, making you second-guess yourself, and leaving you with this nagging sense that you owe them something. The worst part is how quiet it is. There's no big fight to point at, just that slow drip of doubt that reshapes you over time. Seeing it for what it is, that's the first step to breaking free. So let's take a closer look at where it shows up, starting with the people closest to us, our spouses. In a marriage, or say a long-term relationship, I do this because I love you, can feel like a promise and a problem all at once. It's supposed to show devotion, but sometimes it's more like a chain keeping you in place. Spouses might lean onto it to explain controlling habits, making it sound like they are just looking out for you. Picture a partner who tells you to stop hanging out with certain friends because they don't want you to get hurt, claiming that those people aren't good for you. It feels caring at first, until you realize it's really about keeping you under their thumb, cutting you off from the world bit by bit. This kind of thing plays on power in our relationship. Remember that we mentioned power? Well, maybe they check on your phone all the time because they care so much, or they decide how you spend money to keep you safe. So many scammers out there. It's not love pushing them. It's insecurity or a need to call the shots. You end up doubting yourself, shrinking your life to keep the peace, and feeling guilty for even thinking about arguing with their so-called love. Keep this in mind. Real love doesn't box you in. It lifts you up. Now, we have to see how this shifts into the workplace, where care puts on a whole different face. The effort, all that. We shift gears to the workplace, where "I do this because I want you to be the best" becomes the manipulator's go-to line. bosses and even coworkers toss it out to justify all kinds of overreach, making it sound like they are investing in you. Imagine a manager who loads you up with extra projects, tight deadlines, and constant critiques, all while saying it's to help you grow and shine. It feels like they are rooting for you until you're drowning in stress and wondering why their support feels so heavy. This trick is all about control dressed up as mentorship. They might nitpick your work endlessly because they want you to succeed or push you into roles you didn't ask for to unlock your potential. I knew somebody whose boss kept them late every night, claiming it was the only way they'd climb the ladder. At first, they bought it. It makes sense, right? More hours, more effort, more recognition. Yeah, wink, wink. But when the burnout hit and they saw it was more about the boss's ego than their career, and they realize that the damage begins creeping in, chipping away at your self-worth and tying your value to their approval. You start thinking, I'm not good enough unless I'm breaking myself to meet their standards. But real growth doesn't come from being crushed. It comes from being trusted. Now, let's move on to friendships, where care takes on yet another shape. Friendships are supposed to be a safe space, but I do this because I care about you can turn them into a minefield. Friends might lean onto this line to guilt you into something, making control feel like loyalty. Think about a friend who's always giving you advice you didn't ask for, then gets upset when you don't take it, saying that they just care too much to watch you mess up. It sounds like they've got your back, until you notice they're more interested in steering you than supporting you. This kind of manipulation blurs the lines between help and dominance. Maybe they call you out in front of others because they care about your growth, or guilt you into ditching plans to hang out with them instead. Usually, when you realize what's going on, the fallout is tricky because you don't want to lose the friendship, so you bend, and soon your choices aren't yours anymore. It's exhausting, leaving you second-guessing what a friend should even be. But true care doesn't come with strings or shame. It lets you breathe and be yourself. So, why does this work so well? Let's dig into the psychology behind these 7 words. How can it be possible that I do this because I love you hits so hard? Because it's all about psychology, and manipulators know exactly what buttons to push. They tap into things we all crave, like love, trust, and belonging, and twist them into tools for control. When somebody says they're acting out of care, it's tough to argue back without feeling like you're the bad guy. That guilt is their secret weapon, in fact, keeping you hooked and questioning yourself instead of them. It works because they prey on what makes us human. What's the most important thing for us? We want to be loved. So we hesitate to call out anything wrapped in that word. They might play on your insecurities or your value system, making you feel like you need their guidance, or lean on your kindness, knowing you are not going to push back too hard. A spouse might control you because they are scared of losing you. A boss might overwork you to feel powerful, and a friend might guilt you to keep you close. But underneath, you will often find traits like narcissism or deep insecurity driving them, but they will never admit this. Instead, they will frame this as sacrifice, and you're left carrying the weight. You are the one to blame. Now, the real thing is how it sneaks into your head. You start doubting your own instincts, wondering if they are right to care so much after all. That's their edge. That's their edge. Turn your emotions against you. But once you see the pattern, it loses its grip. Now, let's talk about those patterns right now. These red flags that you can spot from a mile away sometimes. Spotting manipulation isn't always easy, but there are signs that give it away, especially when it's hiding behind love or care. One big red flag is inconsistency. With their words, we have been talking about body language and words for how many years now. When their words don't match their actions, the spouse might say that they are protecting you by checking your phone, but it's always about their peace of mind, not yours. In the workplace, a boss might praise your potential while never giving you real support. Just more tasks. A friend might swear that they care, but their help always leaves you feeling smaller. Another clue is control creeping in. If their love comes with rules, like who you see or how you act, that is not care. That is a cage. You also have to look for guilt trips as well, where they make you feel bad for setting boundaries or choosing yourself. Then there is a pattern of escalation, where their care gets louder the more you pull away. You start defending yourself and they realize that they don't have that much power over you after all. These signs show up everywhere, from home to work to hang out with friends. The key is trusting your gut when something feels off. If their love or concern leaves you drained instead of lifted, that is your signal. And seeing these red flags early can save you a lot of heartache. And next, we will talk about how to push back and protect yourself. Before, I want to give you some encouragement. This is not about being paranoid all the time. Like, you cannot trust anybody, but you have to pay attention to those signs, especially the signs of how you feel, because their words and their body language and their suggestion can be really persuasive to the point of be manipulating you without you noticing. So the most important thing is how you feel about their words. So how do you stand up to this kind of manipulation? It starts with seeing it for what it is and refusing to let it run your life. One solid move is setting boundaries, clear lines that say what's okay and what's not. If a spouse keeps hovering because they love you, try something like, I get that you're worried, but I need space to figure this out myself. It's calm, it's firm, and doesn't buy into the guilt. At work, when a boss piles on tasks to make you the best, you could say, I appreciate the push, but I will take on what I can handle. With a friend who cares too much, maybe, you could say, thanks for looking out, but I've got this my way. Now, you have to question their intent out loud. You can ask, how does this help me? It flips the script and makes them explain, which they often can't. Now, back that up with self-validation, reminding yourself your feelings and your choices matter first, not just their version of love. Your goal, your ultimate goal, is emotional independence, where their words or anybody's words do not define you. It takes practice, I speak from experience, but that is a freedom worth fighting for. Now, let's talk about what comes next. We have walked through a lot in this video, from how manipulators twist I do this because I love you into a tool for control and power, to spotting it in spouses, workplaces, and friendships. It is everywhere, hiding behind smiles and good intentions, leaving you tangled in guilt and doubt. But here's the truth. You don't have to stay there. Seeing through all those lies, whether it's a partner boxing you in, a boss breaking you down, or a friend pulling strings, the first spark of your power. And with the steps we have covered, and you realizing what's going on, you can fan that into a flame. This isn't just about dodging manipulation, it's about choosing yourself. You deserve relationships that feel like, could be a bit poetic, sunlight, not shadows, where care doesn't come with a catch. Take what you have learned here, the red flags, the pushback, the healing, and go with it. Next time someone hands you that line, you will know what to look for and how to stand tall. I have been there, untangling myself from people who swore they loved me while tightening the screws, and I can tell you the other side is worth it. So here's your call. Trust your gut, hold your ground, and build a life where your well-being comes first. That's the most important thing. You've got this. Now let's keep shining a light on this trick so no one else gets caught in the dark. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy, and don't forget to download my free 100 body language tips in the description of this video, and you will be subscribed to my emails on this and more topics. Much love and bliss.